The Auburn Tigers learned its opponents for the next 4 seasons, and 2026 looks pretty tough.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into a special live edition of Locked On Auburn. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Montgomery radio legend, the Darrell Dappirch, hanging out with us, reacting to Auburn learning the opponents, not the entire schedule, but who it will play in the SEC every year for the next 4 seasons. Of course, we knew the projected or the annual matchups, the annual opponents, Alabama, Georgia, Vanderbilt. We knew that going into this. But Darrell, we'll kind of spend time going over the next 4 years. 2026, it looks pretty tough.
It really does. I mean, first of all, a couple things jump right out at you. LSU getting back on the schedule when you're already playing Alabama and Georgia. Ole Miss, who's been a perennial 10-win team the last few years, they are obviously ascending. Tennessee, my goodness, Heupel's got them playing a lot better the last couple years as well. I mean, those 4 or 5 teams right there that Auburn's playing are all playoff contenders and could be, 4 of them could be college football playoff teams. So that is just unbelievable. And then you go, obviously, as you see there, you keep Arkansas, you add Florida, who knows? Somebody goes in there. Florida is a sleeping giant. The right coach, like when Urban Meyer was there and Spurrier was there, even Mullen, can completely flip that program to be a power as well. Amazing. I'm surprised, and I want to get your take on it. I would have thought that Texas would have showed up on this schedule because Auburn has yet to play them as an SEC opponent since they've been in the conference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. The road trips are brutal in 2026. The road trips are absolutely insane. I mean, we're talking about at Bama, at Georgia, at Tennessee, at Ole Miss, and Tennessee. I mean, that's just
and Mississippi State.
You can't ask.
Yeah,
you can't ask for a much tougher road gauntlet than that. And we'll learn. I think they said in November we'll learn when exactly these games are being played in 2026. Right now, we can just kind of speculate, but you got to hope that those games are spread out. You got to hope that they're somewhat spread out.
You better hope so, yeah.
It's going to be it could be a brutal run there.
Yeah, the road games, I'm glad to see Ole Miss, Mississippi State back on the schedule. It just feels good. LSU, same thing. Of course, you get to play LSU at home. Tennessee is a very, very underrated venue about how hard it is to win there because of how many it seats. I mean, it's 100-something thousand stadium, right? Seat stadium. Very difficult to win there. Very difficult to win in Alabama and Georgia. Gosh, at least you don't got to go to the swamp as well in that first year, right? Could you imagine adding Death Valley in Florida? Like if they'd have given Ole Miss and Mississippi State an Auburn home game and you had to go to the swamp and Death Valley along with Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. I mean, here's where we are in the SEC. We are, no matter what year you play and where you play, it's going to be brutal every single year. There is, you can look at every schedule and go, wow, there's not weeks off. There's not years off. I mean, if you look at Auburn's schedule right now, the here and now, it looks a lot more manageable compared to what they have to play in 2026. So they better get it this year. They better get when the getting's good.
Oh, and we guessed that. I mean, we've done shows on this, like how important this year was because we assumed next year would be tough. Now, some of those assumptions were wrong because we thought Texas would be a part of that. But I mean, it's still ridiculous. It's still ridiculous. So, I mean, we'll see what Vandy looks like post Diego Pavia, assuming he'll be done playing.
maybe post Clark Lee. Let's think about it. Vanderbilt has been kind of a stepping stone when they have a really good coach. I mentioned this on another program. Jerry DiNardo, gone. James Franklin has some success, gone. So Clark Lee, if he gets to them to 8 or 9 wins this year, there's going to be some teams calling. A lot of teams knocking on that door. So that could be a whole different situation next year with no Pavia and no Lee.
Right. Right. All right. And well, let's go ahead and look at 2027.
Sure.
There's been a few folks in the live chat say 2027 is our year, or maybe it was in the Discord. No, I think it was, the Hefty Lefty saying 2027 is our year. At Vandy, at Kentucky, at Missouri, at Texas. And then I didn't really think about this till like just now, like while they were doing the schedule reveal on SEC Network. But when you play 9 games, you're going to have 4. You're going to switch between, how many home games you have every other year. And so I didn't really think about that, but that's going to play a big part in like who you're picking to win the conference every year. I think that's important.
It is. And look at that. Oklahoma and Texas both on the schedule in the same year.
Say that again, Darrell.
Oklahoma and Texas both on the schedule in 2027 in the same year.
Yep. Yeah, it's brutal. That's brutal, but much more manageable. I mean, look, nobody's going to have a schedule that's just like, oh, that's easy. That's easy. And so like, we can look at this, but it's going to be tough. This is going to be tough. But I mean, that's the conference. That's the conference. And that's the beauty of adding a 9th conference game is it's going to get tougher for everyone. So what, I mean, is there anything that stands out? I mean, obviously 2026 is tough, but like any overarching takeaways from this, Darrell, that just stands out to you?
From 2026?
Just in general. I mean, 26, 27, 28, or 29. I mean, just the overall like new era of SEC scheduling. Anything specifically stand out to you?
Yes. I'm surprised they didn't split the newbies, meaning Auburn getting Texas 1 year and Oklahoma the next. To have neither on their schedule 1 year and then both the next is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Both Mississippi schools coming back on board also stands out to me as well. And obviously, like it used to be, going to those places where they used to rotate, you'd have them at home 1 year, on the road the other. I don't know. It just feels a little more traditional to me. It really does. Kentucky being on Auburn's schedule and Vanderbilt being on Auburn's schedule is beneficial to Auburn, but doesn't feel traditional to me. It just feels
but
different.
when you look at all those names, it's like you got to have it.
Absolutely, you do.
You have to.
Yeah. I mean, and then you throw in, and people seem to forget the rule that you have to play another Power 4 team amongst that too. I mean, that's, whew. I mean, that to me.
What's the trickle down effect of that? Do you think there's a race almost to schedule the like Rutgers of the world
to go get the Oklahoma States and the Kansas? There might be. I think the trickle down effect is you're going to have to expand the college football playoff if you have teams do that. You have to get to a schedule that would allot a team with 3 losses to get in the playoffs. If you're playing a 9-game SEC schedule, look at those schedules that the SEC has to play. Mm-hmm. They are absolutely beyond death marches. And then if you say, oh, and by the way, you got to play another Power 4, you better open up the playoff to 16 teams and allow so that 3 lost teams get in, because that's just very, very difficult to do. And the other thing about it that really bothers me, Zach, is that Notre Dame doesn't have to do that, right? They're independents, and they talk about you could play someone from a Power 4 conference or Notre Dame. And I would love for Auburn to schedule Notre Dame more likely in 27, not 26. I think they're good with 26. But you know, I mean, the ACC. I mean, how do they weigh these things? You look at the ACC schedule compared to what those SEC schedules look like. Are you kidding me? The Big 12, only the Big 10 has the argument that really, and I don't even know if they do. When you look at their bottom part of it with the Marylands and Rutgers, and they don't have the same feel. Michigan State. I think this is going to pave the way for more changes in college football. That's what I think. I think it has to, because it's so difficult. It's such a super conference now.
Yeah. I think the difficulty of 2026, I think you can make the argument it puts even more pressure on this season. That's next, right here on the special reaction show here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Can you imagine buying tickets anywhere other than with our friends at Game Time? And goodness gracious, Game Time is going to be handy looking at some of these matchups over the next 4 years. Oh my.
Absolutely.
You want to be there. we're talking about them now. You want to be there several years from now. And Darrell, you use Game Time just as much as I do. It's the only place we use to buy tickets.
Concerts. Absolutely. Ball games. You've used them, I think, for plays. There's just so many different things that you can right there at your disposal. One-stop shop, and I love it.
Yep. Hey, use the free app today. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off at Game Time today. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Square. Darrell, small businesses all over the world use Square. Your company uses Square. Super user-friendly, super vital, and they understand how important it is for small businesses.
Point of sale right on your phone.
Yep.
Cannot beat that. Point of sale right there on your phone, goes right into your bank account.
Yep. Visit square.com/go/LockedOnCollege today. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. For the live chat that's here, drop a few of your takes or questions. Would love to get to those in just a moment. I think the brutal, I keep saying schedule, list of opponents that Auburn will play in 2026. I think not that there needed to be any more excuse for pressure on this season, but I think it adds to more pressure for the remainder of this year once you kind of see the gauntlet that Auburn will be tasked with next year.
Yeah, it's really unique because in most athletic competitions or sports, a schedule doesn't get dropped till the season's over. And so now, wow, we better go ahead and make do this year because next year gets extremely difficult. Who's graduating? Who do we think we might lose in the portal? All those things matter.
Right.
And it didn't matter. We didn't need a schedule release like you mentioned earlier to know that we were going to have a brutal schedule in 26. Although I keep going back to, I thought, Auburn was going to travel to Austin, and I was hoping that game was in November because I've heard people say that their feet melted into the turf in September. It was so hot, but it's life in the SEC.
Right.
It's why it's the best conference in America. Part of it, I know this is kind of, I don't know, glutton for punishment, but part of it, looking at that schedule, though, I was like, wow, those matchups are fun. I mean, I get it. If you get beat, they're not fun. But
yeah,
the anticipation of them. And look, I want to just say this. If you follow Auburn and you coach at Auburn and you play at Auburn and you look at a schedule and are scared or as a fan go, oh, my gosh, we're going to lose. Auburn needs to quit with that mentality and just say, hey, maybe it'll be turned around by then. Look at this recruiting class. What are we going to get in the portal? Hey, they got to come. They got to come to Jordan-Hare.
There you go. They got to host us.
They got to host us.
Yeah.
So that, I think the mindset, and I get it. It's hard to get that mindset when you've had 4 losing seasons in a row. But once that script flips, and it could, things can change. Nobody would have looked at that schedule and said, "Wow, we've got a top 15 team that's our annual opponent next year," i.e. Vandy.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
They had drug tested me. Things can change rather quickly. And
You're
so, it's just, let's see what happens this year. Let's see what kind of momentum can get built and then worry about it from year to year. But I look at it, we got to look at it as like a challenge, kind of like fun, like an opportunity.
Yeah, I like that. We'll get to your comments in just a second. I see a few good ones. I think it's worth noting. So 2026, we know that we host Baylor next year. That's happening. That'll be on September 5th.
Wow.
27 and 28, we've got in 27, we have Middle Tennessee and Missouri State. So our P5 or P4 opponent has not been set there. In 28, we have North Alabama. So still working on that schedule. In 29 and 30 is when we play Miami. So
look at them right now, right?
On. So 2029, we're at Vandy, at South Carolina, at A&M, at Oklahoma, at Miami. Which, I mean, I think 2029 is a little bit more manageable than the other ones just because you get, some of the larger games at home. But
maybe crystal ball will be in the NFL or something by then. Who knows? But yeah,
I mean, so much can change by 2029. That's crazy.
Of course, Miami gets really, really good again when Auburn gets to play them. Now they're an elite team, top 5.
Are they gonna be good in 4 years though? Like, I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I mean, you're right. Another comment that I saw that was way up there that I really, really liked was somebody said, Auburn needs to be on the phone with Wake Forest and Northwestern. Right
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There you go. Kansas on the phone.
Says, let's get Wake Forest, Northwestern, and Kansas on the phone ASAP. Yeah,
absolutely.
Still 27 and 28. Yep, absolutely.
There's some ACC teams, that besides Wake Forest that would be pretty good to get on the phone. And again, I don't know, the bottom feeders of the Big 12. Kansas is one of them, but Kansas is not bad with Daniels. They're not the Kansas of old.
Yeah. All right. So
Stanford Stanford. There you go.
Eagle says still playing at Bama and Georgia every other year. That's probably the dumbest and most brutal part of this. It's definitely brutal. I don't know if I'd say it's dumb, but I don't know.
Well, I think the best solution I heard for that was to have 1 year playing it in Atlanta and then to make it like a neutral site game in Atlanta and then go back. And then that way that kind of got the rotation back how it needs to be so that you're playing Alabama and Georgia. Like Auburn would have to give up a home game or Georgia would have to give up a home game. But neither one, it's really that big
Georgia
of a deal.
Gave up one, correct? When the shift happened, didn't Georgia give up?
I believe they did.
We played them 2 years in a row at home.
But wasn't that part of the thing that wasn't there some because the game got moved up?
Yes.
From November to October. Yeah. Because people were, having to play them back to back.
Would you give up a home game against Georgia to make it where you don't play at Bama and at Georgia every year? Would you give up one?
I believe I would if it was in Atlanta.
No. Would you would you give up a home game? No.
No.
Okay.
No. Nope.
Got it.
Nope.
Got it.
I like hedges, but I don't like them that much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Georgia would do that.
Right.
Because Georgia already gave up one.
Well, because Georgia scheduled Auburn for homecoming. So they don't care. They don't fear Auburn. They could give, come on. They'd be like, yeah.
I'm sure they still make a lot of money off of it.
I'm going to just throw something out here. I just thought of, and I want to get the chat's opinion of that. You know how it says you have to play a Power 4 or Notre Dame? I wish they would expand that to a service academy school. Because I wish they would say you have to play a school from a Power 4 conference, Notre Dame, or a service academy school. Mm-hmm. Because of what that does for those service academies who are there protecting our country. To be able to play an Army or a Navy or an Air Force, I think I would love to see that broadened out a little bit. So those teams who I love the service academy schools and the Army Navy game and all the pageantry, allow them to have some big money games, right? So expand that and say Power 4, Notre Dame, or Army or Navy. And you can choose. And can you imagine Army coming to Jordan-Hare?
Well, that'd be fun.
Or Navy. It's just something different. And I think it helps these service academies, which we should be helping service academies. Those are our brightest and our finest.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So as far as 2026 goes, we all agree that 2026 is brutal. At home, Vandy, Arkansas, Florida, LSU, and then you go to Bama, to Georgia, to Ole Miss, to Mississippi State, and to Tennessee. So overall, that is my biggest takeaway is how brutal 2026 is, which once again, we knew it would be. We assumed it would be. Yes. It has exceeded expectations there. So any final thoughts, Darrell, before we put a bow on it?
I'm surprised at the excitement level I have looking at a schedule that is absolutely brutal. It's a weird, conflicting emotion that I have. I'm looking at it and going, my God, we're 7 wins, right? I'm just being honest, but I'm not going to have a defeatist attitude. I'm just saying you look at it, and if you're realistic, but then I'll come back and go, anything could happen. Auburn needs to worry about being Auburn, and that looks like a lot of fun to play some of those schools again. I'm excited about going to Knoxville.
Can I put you on the spot just real quick?
Oh, you're going to do it to me. Yeah. Go ahead.
Who's Auburn's quarterback that plays these games?
Oh, man.
Who?
I thought about that. I believe
you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
No, I have a feeling it's going to be Jackson. I don't know if he's going to progress enough in the passing game to move on to the next level yet, or be
No,
ready?
he's not an NFL guy. That's from what we've seen so far.
So you're saying that he would be asked to move on?
Those are the options, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think NFL's the option.
See, that's a scary scenario, because
gotta
if
make
he
a
doesn't,
decision.
who do you? Oh, I didn't want to.
Unless Deuce is just cool, chilling for another year.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
All
I
right.
mean, what? No, they're redshirting Ashton Daniels. That's who they're riding with. That's who they're counting on.
All right. Please like the video. Please subscribe, and we will see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.